Hey guys, what's up? Slackerino here. Well, I haven't been slacking, to be honest. I was fairly busy and then in the last week I got pretty sick. But now I'm back and today's topic is gonna be your mobile or your portable home during your hike. And if you have done some research already, you may have noticed that there are plenty of options out there, far more than just tents, and it can be pretty overwhelming, to be honest. So I have thought about it a lot, how to cover this complex topic, and I will do it in two parts. Today I want to ask you some basic questions, and in the second part I will show you some specific type of shelters that are out there. So without further ado, let's get started. And yeah, the first question should be, do you need to bring a tent at all? Because especially in Europe, here are a lot of hiking trails with a lot of hostels along the way, and a tent wouldn't really be necessary. But if you need one, then go ahead to the second question, and that is, what are the environmental conditions? And of course, the weather situation, like is it very hot, is it humid, are there high winds, and what is the precipitation, is there even snow, things to consider. And also where you will camp, like is it in a forest area where trees surround you and give you some additional protection, or is it out out in the open field where you are much more exposed to the elements. And of course you have to keep in mind the bug situation. Do you need a shelter with bug netting, or can you go without one? So the next big point, number 3, is the comfort, and obviously it has to be tall enough. The sleeping area, for me, this is a problem sometimes because they are just too short, and so I have to look for 2-person shelters. Also very important for me is that it's high enough so I can sit and don't have to do everything in a lying position. And some people, they prefer to have a vestibule, which is a separated area from your sleeping area, where you can leave your backpack or the dirty shoes and whatnot. And next point is the weight of the whole system. And you heard me saying a lot that weight is very important. You want to keep it as low as possible, and if you happen to camp in the shelter with more than one person, that is going to be even better because it effectively reduces the weight per person. So the next point is the setup. How easy is it to set up? I want a shelter that I can pitch at least in 5 to 10 minutes. Everything that takes me longer than that isn't that appealing, because let's say it rains, you don't want to be fiddling with it for more than 5 or 10 minutes. And also in some areas they want you to camp on these wooden platforms to protect Mother Nature, or maybe you will camp in sandy areas or where there are a lot of rocks. Then it's very convenient to have a shelter that is freestanding and don't need tent stakes. Sorry. So the point number 6 is the condensation, or the ventilation of your shelter. What is condensation? Well, we have a certain air humidity, and the air can hold a certain amount of water at a given temperature. And at 85 degrees Fahrenheit, it can hold 3 times more water than at 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So if the temperature drops during the night, the relative humidity will go up, and if it reaches 100% or goes beyond, you will have some condensation on the coldest part of your shelter, which is usually the outermost wall. And if you touch this outermost wall, which is covered in condensation, with your sleeping bag, it gets wet, and we all want to avoid that because it reduces the loft and the insulation. So the best way to avoid condensation is pretty much by a good ventilation. So Yeah, the privacy is another thing that you should keep in mind, especially if you camp in areas where there are a lot of people around you. There are shelters out there that are fully enclosed, and then there are shelters that are pretty open and everybody can watch what you can do. So, and the last point that I wanted to address is the price. There are solutions out there for $100, and then it goes all the way up to $800, $900. And it doesn't have to be the most expensive one, but I wouldn't buy the cheapest one also, because yeah, you can risk your life if you camp in a very cheap shelter and a very bad storm hits you and it just destroys your whole shelter. Everything gets soaking wet, and then it's very easy to get hypothermia. So don't make the mistake and buy it too cheap. Yeah, that were my basic questions, and in the next video I will talk about the specific type of shelters out there. And yeah, stay tuned. Until next video, see you later.